Hey guys, the install period of camp is over, and we got some developments on the horizon. All right, there are a lot of things going on right now, and there are a few big things that have come out of this 10 days of install. Now, I'm going to get right into it. We're going to go with the first big thing we got, and that is something you'll notice is Todd Monken, head coach, and Jared Verse, the new defensive end. Their attitude is infectious. Whether you can say what you want about these guys, their attitude, their intensity, their willingness to do whatever it takes to get the best out of you, whether it's Jared Verse staying after practice with Spencer Fano, the young left tackle, or Todd Monken chewing out a bunch of special teams players and the offensive line. And sometimes it's just teaching. Like we even saw a little bit of a fight. Things yesterday between Spencer Fano and Jared Verse. Those two guys were all buddy buddy the other day, working together after practice. And then, yeah, they were dabbing up a little bit after the scrum, but you know, it's that fire that's being brought to the team, and that's something we haven't seen. Yeah, people have been angry. Yeah, there have been a couple, brush ups, but there's never really been the intensity there. These guys are dancing. These guys are having a great time, but these guys are learning and they're improving. They're talking. They're all together, and then they're ready to beat each other, you know, with a bunch of angry sticks when they're going up against each other. And that's great competition. We love that competition. We love that attitude. Because that attitude right there, that is what we love to see in camp. And that's what we love to see from young guys. We want to see that hunger. We want to see that attitude. And that's one thing I really like about this install period because I think that's showing what type of attitude this Browns defense and an extension from the Overcast, what they're doing and how they're getting guys like Fano to join in on it. This is what I believe we're going to come to expect this year from this team. These guys are going to be this is going to be an intense group. That much I'm not going to guarantee you, but I'm going to tell you that is what this is coming to. This is going to be a very intense group. And they're going to look to really make some waves. And so, with that observation, I'm going to get to some things I liked outside of just what the attitude is being brought. First, the quarterbacks. I have said before, for the last 4 years and about 6 months of this year, Deshaun Watson's played like dog water. We ain't going to sugarcoat that. I'm somebody who likes Watson. I want him to get his career back on track because I thought he'd done dirty. Anybody who has read the affidavit, anybody who has followed what's gone on with him over the last few years, and even from Browns fans, that small minority of fans that booed him off the field when he tore his Achilles the first time, I mean, he's been done dirty. He's been through a lot. I want to see him get his career back on track, but over the last 4 years, he has not done himself any favors. That being said, I'm going to go back to Todd Monken. Something Deshaun Watson's done well over his career is play fast. He has not done well over his career when it comes to medium over the middle. He's just not great at it. And he's shown that here in camp. He's thrown a lot of interceptions over the middle. But he's dropped a lot of dimes. And I think that big playability is helping him. But what's hurting him is that shoulder surgery, which that was a freak act. I'm not even sure how he got that injury. I mean, I watched him get that injury, but the injury itself was just as a baseball pitcher's injury. How do you wind up with something like that? That was just freak. That was just a freak incident. Um, then he had the Achilles. I'm more worried about him as a person, and one more torn Achilles. He just got married. I mean, if he has kids, he might not be able to play with his kids the way he likes if he tears that thing again. Because every time you tear your Achilles tendon, it gets shorter and shorter. And to repair it, they have to stretch it back out, which leads to more tears. And he did it twice within a couple months. But I will say this, over the last 3 days or so, he's played extremely well in camp. I'm not going to take it from him. I think he has done a very, very good job in camp. And I think Todd Monken has done a good job of rehabbing him a little bit. Rehabbing his psyche and putting him in a position where he can best utilize his skills. Which, that's all you can ask for a coach. And Watson's delivered over the last few weeks, or the last few days. He had 1 or 2 good days last week, but okay, he had 1 good day last week and 1 okay day last week. So we're going to give Watson his flowers. In the last few days, he's come on real strong. That being said, he's got stiff competition because Shedeur Sanders has been rocking the Casbah since OTAs. He's one of the first people in the building, one of the last people leaving the building every day since OTAs began. He was there before OTAs. He was there to greet his new head coach. Gave him a horse head. And he has been clearly better than Watson on every front, except for the one thing that Todd Monken's offense requires. That's getting out of the huddle quick. That's getting to the line quick. Again, total passes, Shedeur has thrown 199 to Deshaun's 219. And that goes with getting out of the huddle quickly. And you get to the huddle quickly, get the playoff. That's what Shedeur has to keep getting better at. Because when it comes to stuff that happens after the snap, he's high pointed the ball better. He's been more accurate. He's seen the field better. But he has not been able to get in and out of the huddle as effectively. And Todd Monken's offense is a complicated offense. This isn't a West Coast offense. Believe me, I ran the West Coast offense. I like the West Coast offense. Also ran, and that was as a coach. As a player, we ran power running scheme. Tried to run the triple option, which is now, turned into whatever college football does. It's exciting, but, I like to pay more attention to the intricate parts of the pro game. And so I know, what Todd Monken's offense is trying to do. And the speed of the game is the same speed he brought when Ole Miss won Conference USA when he was the head coach. The speed is the speed that won Georgia back-to-back championships, which I believe was the last NCAA team to win back-to-back championships. And it's the same thing he brought to the Baltimore Ravens. And we've all seen Lamar Jackson's had the best 3 years of his career in that fast-paced scheme. And that's what Shadir's got to get used to, because one thing he's always done is play methodical ball. Everything Watson's always done is play fast pace. So Watson is a more natural fit. Shadir has more skills at this point in his life and career. But Watson's got that veteran presence, and he's got that speed. So we're going to see here in the time leading up what Sanders can do, whether Watson's going to keep playing fast. Because Watson's got to keep done at the turnovers, keep those turnovers down. And Sanders has got to speed up his game. Another thing I like, Quinshon Judkins. Oh, that boy has looked. He looks like a breakout star. He looks like 12, 13, 1,400 yard runner. He has just been awesome in this camp. He has seen things. He has ducked up under a couple tackles. Since the pads came on, that we knew we were going to be tackled for loss and gain yards. He has broken at least one tackle we knew would have gone for like 80, 90 yards. There's a chance he is still running. He has looked explosive. He has looked like a premier back in this league. And I really look forward to seeing what Quinshon Judkins can do, hopefully with a better offensive line. Speaking of offensive linemen, Spencer Fano, he's improved well. Obviously, go back to Todd Monken's offense. Far more complicated offense than he ran at Utah. Fano played left tackle at Utah and right tackle at Utah. And in neither of those places did he have to learn as much as he would in a Todd Monken offense. And here's the thing. No matter what any of these guys do going forward or who they play with, probably not going to get as complicated an offense as Todd Monken is going to bring to the table. Probably not going to get a player-friendly offense like Todd Monken is going to bring to the table. But it's complicated. And these guys have got to learn it. And these guys have got to get fast. And something I love from Fano, not only has he gotten fast, playing against Jared Verse every day, and that's one of the things I think people take for granted. A lot of times when the second team plays, which is where Fano's been playing, they will put first team players in there to play against some of these second team guys. And that has happened with Fano and Verse. Now, for the most part, Verse has played Fano when ones have gone with the ones, and most of the time they've kept Fano with Shadir. But yesterday, when they had that controversial thing when Monken said Shadir was going to get the first team reps, and Deshaun got the first team reps, those were guys that Shadir has been playing with. So this was the first time that Watson has really played with them exclusively. And that's a good thing. I understand what Coach Monken was doing, how he went about it. Now that I got a question, because there were better ways to go in that situation than the approach he took. But I can understand what he did. I just don't like how he did it. Hopefully, it doesn't backfire on him. Hopefully, everything's cool going forward and everything keeps going because we got a preseason game to get ready for, guys. And these guys got to be on the same page. And what we learned, Spencer Fano, he's got a personality. And not only does he have a personality, he's got a bit of a mean streak. Now, he's just got to learn to channel that mean streak. And I think pairing him with Jared Verse is a great way to do it. And I think some things are getting mixed up. Because you'll hear some of the media sometimes comment on how good the receivers have been. Yeah, we'll hear about Denzel Boston. We'll hear about how the receivers have done such a great job. Boston going up and getting it. Boston not dropping passes. Boston this, Boston that. The best player, as far as he has grown into his spot, would be Casey Concepcion. That's because, if you remember correctly, at the beginning of OTAs, he was dropping a lot of passes. He was thinking way too much. And I said at that time, hey, look, he's got to stop thinking and got to start playing. He's got to stop dropping these balls. He's got to stop thinking as much. And you can go back, look at my wide receiver tape, and you'll see it. So when I see him hardly dropping anything, he's outrunning balls and has to come back for him. People saying, oh, Shadur underthrew him, or Deshaun underthrew him. No, they didn't underthrow him. That thing was 45. It's throwing 45 yards in the air. It was just those guys were. He was just outrunning the ball. Gotta wet my lips there. But yeah, he was just outrunning the ball. 45-yard pass would have hit most people in the numbers. Casey Concepcion was just so fast. He just outran it. I think it was 2-3 days ago. Let's see. I did a live stream on it where I showed there was a pass where I think people were saying Shadur threw the touchdown, but he underthrew him. No, he didn't underthrow him. Well, technically he did underthrow him, but he threw the ball 45, 50 yards in the air. Concepcion had 6-7 yards on a cornerback and a safety. It was absurd how fast he got. But yeah, the ball, if you look at the trajectory, that ball would have hit a normal guy regularly. But Casey's speed is just, it's insane. I've seen and not only his speed, his jumping ability. You can look anywhere. You can find a clip of him jumping 4 or 5 feet in the air, catching a ball. Like, yeah, it's like, you want to high point somebody? You high point that guy. Because there are few, if nobody in the NFL can out-jump him. Say the same thing about Boston. Insane jumping ability. But the one very few people are talking about, Isaiah Bond. Let's face it, I've been a Bond fan since before he came out, since he went out for the draft. And thing about Bond is Bond will make those big time plays. But everybody and their grandmother were saying, "Oh, he didn't run many routes last year. He didn't do this. He didn't do that." Well, he was doing all that with Dylan Gabriel. The problem is, you didn't see any of it because nobody cared that Dylan Gabriel was out there. They would throw it to him. Gabriel wouldn't lead him. It would hit him in the chest. He would get tackled immediately. I remember one play. It was a 3 or 5 yard out route. He broke out. He had three 3 yards. He had a step on the receiver. He had 3 yards. All he had to do was lead him, and with his speed, he would have gotten 10 yards, 8, 10 yards. But Gabriel put it right in his chest, and he caught it, and he was visibly frustrated. He was visibly upset about that because he knew he had a first down, and then some. So this thing about how he's not a great route runner, I think we need to squash that. Because something in this camp he's shown. He can run the routes over the middle. He can run the routes to the sideline. He can run the deep routes. He can run the bang eights. He can run the wheel routes. He was even running some end rounds, and he was going in motion a lot. He and Casey Concepcion, they were going around in motion. And a lot of times he has been starting. So that tells me that right now the wide receiver room is darn good. And Jerry Jeudy has been inconsistent. Like yesterday, he dropped a bunch of passes. The day before that, I don't think he dropped a single pass. He's got to get himself together. Or else, right now, as play on the field goes, he's already been bypassed by 2, maybe 3 guys. Easy. Easy. He's been bypassed by 3 guys. And there's an undrafted guy there. He looks pretty good. Wilson, I think his name is. No, Tyron Wilson from the Ravens. Well, he's looked pretty good too. So this wide receiver room looks pretty good overall. And that being said, they're doing it against a defense I think is going to be one of the top 5 defenses in this league. I don't think they're going to miss a beat when it comes to the pass rush. They might drop in sacks because Myles Garrett, he got a lot of sacks. But he also forced a lot of guys to throw the ball away really quick when they probably would have gotten sacked by somebody else, or at the very least there might have been more pressures or more tackles behind the line. Overall, I expect this group to be better against the run. And a lot of that's because Jared Verse is a better run stuffer than Myles Garrett was. He sticks to his lanes more than Myles did. The defensive backs. I know G. Bush and some other people who have been out there have said that this group isn't as deep. They think that. I'm thinking, hey, this second group, these guys get a lot of interceptions and breakups. Okay, McNeil Warren, insane closing speed. We knew he was really good when it came to closing in college, but in the pros, he's kind of kicked it up a level. So he is insane at closing on the ball. Some of these other guys, Ross, and them, they just get up after it. They go up and get the ball. And I don't know, what other people think, other than the fact that I think this group may be getting underrated a little bit because the wide receivers are really good. Harold Fannin at tight end is going to create a lot of problems for a lot of people. And that's somebody who is quietly, as quiet as Harold Fannin could possibly be, been making waves. He's been running great routes. I think one or 2 days, he has been on the bike. But along with those linebackers that have been creating havoc, the one linebacker buster that we've seen there is Harold Fannin. He has been getting the better of some of these linebackers. Now, Denzel Boston has been getting the better of him over the middle a little bit, but if you take a picture of Boston and Carson Schlesinger side by side, the middle linebacker, Boston may be giving him a run for his money. So it's simple. There are not many people that are going to get the better of these linebackers. And right now, yet Schlesinger's been injured a little bit. He's been on the bikes. He's been on the sidelines a little bit, which is, rather he be on the sidelines now than be on the sidelines in September. So if he's banged up a little bit, just get him healthy. And Quincy Williams has been doing a good job. But this linebacker group, linebackers one position. Hopefully Jefferson can step in. Hopefully Watson can step into that linebacker position and solidify that. But that's one position I worry about when it comes to depth. Because these guys are both ultra talented, but one's a rookie and one's never been able to put it together. So if Harold Fannin can complete the wide receiving core and the linebackers can show that depth that we've seen from the DBs, I think with that defensive line running wild the way it is, that this defense could be, I think it could even be a top 3 defense. Top 3 to 5 defense. Which that's only going to be good for the offense. Because if the offense is playing this well against top 3 to 5 defense, which is not really playing well, but it's getting there. But if they're playing against the top 3 to 5 defense this way, then what are they going to do against a team like Chicago or Buffalo? What are they going to do against these guys come preseason when they don't have this angry group of guys that have been downplayed for so long, nipping at their heels and beating them off with sticks? So those are my takeaways from the install period. Now it's time. You're not trying to hurry things up. You're not trying to learn things. Now you got to get after it. Because starting tomorrow, this thing gets real. And that's one thing that we got to emphasize. It gets real starting tomorrow. And once it gets real, well, guess what? You're either going to live or die by what you do on that field. And that being said, guys, this has been a fun show. I've enjoyed talking to you. So go ahead, hit that like and subscribe. And remember, this shot's on us.